Potato salad is incredible served as a side or a main dish, or you can eat it completely on its own. This version is slightly different to what you might usually see, but in my opinion, this one tastes so much better. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright guys, to get this started, here is half a cup or 85 grams of whole macadamia nuts that are untoasted, but for this recipe we need to toast them. To do this, simply place them into a small baking pan lined with parchment paper, pour over 1 teaspoon or 5 milliliters of olive oil to add flavour and help with crispness, and then sprinkle over half a teaspoon or 1.2 grams of sea salt flakes. Using our hands or a spoon, give the nuts a good mix, ensuring that the oil has fully coated them. Then make your way over to a preheated oven that's set to 200 degrees Celsius or 390 degrees Fahrenheit and allow them to roast for 5 to 6 minutes or until lightly golden brown. 6 minutes later, these can then be removed, place them onto a heat resistant surface or wire rack and allow them to cool down for 30 minutes or so. Once you can handle your nuts, we're then going to give them a rough chop to ensure we don't have any really large pieces, and you have the choice of how coarse or fine you chop them. Once you're happy with the size, pop them into a bowl and place them aside for the time being. Now for the main ingredient, here is 1 kilo or 2.2 pounds of baby potatoes that have been washed and dried, and to these, pour over 1 tablespoon or 20 milliliters of olive oil to help them crisp up, as well as 1.5 teaspoons or 7.5 grams of sea salt flakes, and 1.5 teaspoons or 15 cracks of pepper for a nice seasoning. Just like we did with the nuts, give these a really good mix with your hands or a spoon, making sure to rub on any seasoning that may be sitting at the bottom of the bowl, and once that's done, transfer the potatoes onto a baking tray lined with parchment paper. Next, evenly distribute the potatoes around the tray, making sure that they're not touching each other as this will cause them to steam and not roast. Then make your way over to the preheated oven set at the same temperature as before and roast the potatoes for 40 minutes or until golden and crispy. Now in the meantime, grab 2 spring onions or scallions, and with these, slice them in half, separating the roots from the green stalks, and with the roots, you can use them in another dish or save them for a stock. Now if you're an OG subscriber, you'll know that I like to slice these on a slight angle to create little diamond or oval shaped pieces, but really, as long as they're a nice bite size, you can slice them any way you please. Also, these right here are going to be used in the salad and not as a garnish for a boost of freshness and contrast in colour. Once they're done, just pop them aside. Okay, so moving forward, let's make a delicious and tangy dressing. Grab yourself a small mixing bowl, and to this, add in 1 clove of minced garlic, otherwise known as garlic paste, and if you haven't yet seen my video on how to prepare garlic, I'll leave the link in the description below. Next, add in 2 teaspoons or 20 grams of Dijon Mustard for a slight tangy and sharp flavour. 2 teaspoons or 20 grams of Wholegrain Mustard or seeded mustard for a slight sweet spice flavour as well as texture. 1 tablespoon or 20 milliliters of red wine vinegar for a strong tang, sweetness and acidity. Then next, grab 1 large fresh lemon to which we're going to slice in half, saving 1 half for another dish or drink, and with the remaining half, squeeze the juice into the bowl with the other ingredients, making sure that none of those sneaky seeds decide to jump in. The freshness of this juice will complement the rest of the ingredients, bringing them together to create a great flavour friendship. With these ingredients now, just give them a good mix with a whisk just until everything is fully incorporated. Once that's done, here is 1 tablespoon or 20 milliliters of macadamia oil which we're going to very slowly pour in whilst continuously whisking to create an emulsion. The macadamia oil can be substituted for a wide range of nut oils, which I'll leave in the description below, and the reason that we add this is to give our dressing a really smooth, buttery and nutty flavour. If you don't know what an emulsion is, it's combining 2 or more ingredients together that won't normally combine without the correct preparation and methods such as what we're doing here. Once that's all in, we're then going to repeat the same process, but this time with 1 tablespoon or 20 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil, and this is one of the main ingredients in this dressing which will hold all of those ingredients together and give us a beautiful flavour profile. I just want to say as well that if anyone is wondering what is under the bowl, it's a grip mat to keep the bowl sturdy. If you have one, I highly recommend it, as otherwise you'll be dancing all over the bench with your bowl, and if you don't have one, simply wet a tea towel, wring it out and wrap it around the bottom of the bowl to keep it in place. One last thing, if you start to see the oil pooling up on the top of the dressing, stop adding the oil immediately until you have fully mixed it all in, otherwise you'll split the emulsion. Now that that's all in, add in half a teaspoon or 2.5 grams of sea salt flakes, as well as 8 cracks of pepper, and again, just give this a quick whisk to incorporate the seasonings, and then after all that, you'll have a beautiful and tangy dressing that can be placed into the fridge until we're ready to serve. Alright, going back to the potatoes that have now been in the oven for 40 minutes and are golden and crispy, we can now remove these, being careful of any escaping heat, and place them onto a heat resistant surface or wire rack, and allow these bad boys to cool down just until they're warm and cool enough to handle, which will take roughly 30 minutes or so. Once they're as cool as you, gently push them down with your fingertips or any flat bottom surface to slightly crush them, to which we can then proceed by slicing them into quarters or bite-sized pieces depending on the size of your potatoes. Next, add the potatoes into a large mixing bowl, and here comes the fun part where we can build our salad. To the potatoes, pour over all of that dressing, which is going to complement the warm potatoes so well, then add in the sliced spring onions or scallions for bursts of flavour and colour, and with the roasted macadamias, I only personally add about 3/4 or so for an amazing texture and save any remaining for a garnish. Proceed by giving this a good and gentle mix, making sure not to break up the potatoes too much, and stop mixing once everything is coated in that delicious dressing. The next step is to gently place the salad mix onto a plate or in a bowl, depending on how you choose to serve this. Then to add more flavour and freshness and colour, lightly tear up some fresh basil, and the amount you choose is completely up to you. We can then sprinkle over the remaining roasted macadamia nuts for a really nice garnish as well as texture. Add over a few cracks of pepper for a nice pop of spice, and then how good does that look? This will literally complement any protein or veggies you serve this with, or if you're like me, you'll happily eat this on its own, and as the saying goes, we can then dig in. So just like that, we've created an amazing potato salad that's super easy to make and tastes absolutely incredible. This recipe right here serves anywhere between 4 to 6 people and can easily be doubled, tripled and so on. And as for storage, simply place it in the fridge in an airtight container for up to 4 days. And I don't recommend freezing this just because the potatoes and the dressing won't defrost too well and it will become kind of like a mess. But I'll leave all of those important details in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button so my channel can be seen by more people, and consider subscribing along with hitting that bell notification next to it so you never miss one I upload. Thanks for watching everyone, stay safe and enjoy.